In this video tutorial, we'll cover working with slope in ArcGIS. And slope is a product that is derived from DEM. First thing we want to do is just look at our working directory. So if we take a look at the working directory that I have set up here on the desktop, our input roster, which is going to be just a DEM. And then for the surface exports, I currently have a hillshade, but I don't have a slope export. So the slope's going to show up here in my surface exports. And let's go through the steps real quickly. We first want to understand the concept of slope. What is it? We want to understand where it's located, the tools. We want to discuss briefly what is a geodesic method versus a z-factor method. And we've discussed z-factor relative to hillshade. We want to understand the output measurements that are available via the tool. So there's degree or percent rise. We also want to symbolize. In this case, we're going to symbolize based on the mean value, and we're just going to break it into two classes. So values or slope that's below the mean and slope that's above the mean. So we can sort of see areas that are relatively low slope versus high slope. And then we want to create a final map and work on a legend. So our legend is going to be terrain slope in degrees. So to get started here, we'll go into GIS, and currently I have a slope DEM. In the slope DEM, I have a hillshade and the output SRTM. Okay. So I have DEM values on top of hillshade. And what I want to do here is I want to derive slope from the DEM values. So I'm going to go into Arc Toolbox, and this is a surface tool that's inside Spatial Analyst Tools. And then we go down to slope. And I should mention before we get too far along is that you have to have under extensions, you need to make sure that you have the Spatial Analyst extension, one, that you have it, and two, that it's turned on. So I have both of those met. So go into slope, and I'm going to input the roster as SRTM here, and it's going to give me a warning for z-factor. I have two options at this point. I could go get the z-factor for the particular latitude that I'm working at. In this case, it's about 33 or 34. Islamabad, Pakistan is the area around Islamabad, Pakistan is my particular scene. And I can just simply enter in the z-factor for that, and that will go ahead and allow me to process the slope correctly. The other option is under methods. We could choose planar, and you would use planar if you were working in a projected coordinate system. Okay, so your measurements for XY are in planar units, so that would be feet or meters. If that's not the case, you can also, with slope, use geodesic. So geodesic does the calculations essentially for you and puts the performance of the tool into a 3D Cartesian coordinate system. Okay, so it's representing the shape of the Earth as an ellipsoid. And that's what we're going to do here. We're just going to send it to geodesic. And we need to make sure when we do that we set what type of Z unit that we have. And of course, we're using SRTM. And we know that SRTM in our particular product that we're using is 30 meter. So we know that it's in meters. So I click on meters, and then that warning is going to go away, and this will run. Now our output measurement, we have two options. We have percent rise versus degree. So with degree, we're talking about the inclination of slope just calculated in degrees. If we do percent rise, the inclination of the slope is going to be calculated as percent rise and expressed as percent slope. So a good way to think of this is if you're on, say, a cross-country trip in a car and you go down a steep hill, you'll see on the side of the road there will be usually a truck, and they'll have some percent incline or percent hill, and just warning, especially truck drivers with brake issues, that you're looking at, say, a 5% hill coming up, or maybe a 7% hill. So we can express this percent rise. We're going to express it in terms of degrees here. And we'll go ahead and say OK after we put the output to the surface exports in this case. And we're just going to call it slope. And say save. And what this will do is it will run the tool. It runs a little bit slower in geodesic than it would in planar, but that went pretty quickly. And here's what we get back. We get back a class product. It has a lot of classes, and we can see that it's going from a slope of 0 essentially to 74. So the reds here, these are representing anywhere from 40 to 74% slope. So these are very steep areas. And we can see that those steep areas also correspond, if we toggle off our DEM and just overlay to hillshade, those steep areas are also occurring in these real steep terrain areas. Okay, so this is representing where it's real simply steep. Where the incline is very dramatic from one area to another area within the pixels. And the way that the GIS is doing this is it's looking at a neighborhood of pixels. So it's looking at all pixels on the side of any one given cell and figuring out to what degree are those cell values in elevation different than the particular cell. So if it sees a definitive difference, it's going to class that particular cell as being high in slope. If it sees the cells adjacent as being essentially the same value, that's kind of a flat area, and so it's going to class that particular cell for slope accordingly. Now this is all good and fine, and this helps us understand slope. And oftentimes what we'll do once we have slope is that we'll reclass for a certain slope that we're interested in for, say, suitability. But in this case, what we want to do is we want to just show those slope values that are below and above mean. So first off, we have to go get mean. So let's go into symbology here and let's click on classify. And we could just look at our classification statistics. In this case, we can see the mean value is 12 essentially. So let's use 12 as a break. And right now I have 9 classes. Let's bring the classes down to 2. Okay, so I just have 2 classes now, and it naturally sees the breaks based on natural breaks as 15, which is a little bit above mean, and 74. So if I want to do this manually and go right to mean, I could just click on manual, and then here I can replace the 15 with 12. So I'll just do 12, 0, 0, 0. Okay, and let's go ahead and show this now. So we say OK, and say apply, and say OK. And so that just gives us kind of a Boolean result. It's either going to be in the low or the high in terms of median. And the next thing we want to do is we want to overlay this to hillshade. So let's go ahead and just do slope and add some transparency here. So go into display and get a transparency at, let's make it 50%. Say OK. Actually, I'm going to make it a little bit more transparent, I think. I'll make it 65. Okay, so I can really see the hillshade underneath actual slope values. And we can see that the slope values are really corresponding with those areas in our hillshade where we do see a lot of terrain profile. So in these flat areas, these sort of planar regions, those areas are being classed low relative to slope and mean. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and develop a legend that's going to make sense for this particular portrayal. I'm just going to go ahead and save slope, and then I'm going to go into layout view. So I got to go get my layout toolbar. So where is it? Oh, here it is. Okay, I'm going to go into layout view. Okay, I was in data view. I'm going to go into layout view here, and I'm going to drop in a legend. So I'll just go insert legend, and I just want slope in this case. I don't want anything else. Well, Just need to click on slope, bring him over. Go back to title. So my title in this case is, instead of legend, I'm just going to call it terrain. Slope. And this is going to be in degrees. And I'll make this 12. And say next. All right. And let's go ahead and I've already expressed it as degrees, so I'm going to take out some of these elements out of the legend. It's just simplified a little bit. So I don't need it to say slope. I'm just going to remove slope from table of contents. And under properties, I have two options for expressing the numbers in the legend. So I could go into my properties under the layer, and I can go into symbology. And here for the label, I could change it. So here, let's just go 0 to 12. And let's go 12 to 75. 12 to 75. Do something like this and say apply OK. And I still want to get rid of my value. That's not very helpful. We know it's values. So something like this would work quite well. The other option is that I can just simply change it out here. So if I wanted this to be 0 to 14, I could say that. But that doesn't make sense. So I'll go back to 0 to 12. Okay, so that's kind of a quick and dirty legend there that is simplified to 2 breaks based on the mean. And this gives us a lot of information about slope before we would do anything like a reclass. So hopefully this is helpful to understand how to process slope, what some of the parameters of the tools are, and how we can adjust the legend based on a manual classification, or just simply using, say, natural breaks with 5 classes, or in the case of the tool, it produces close to 10 classes.